The 2023 Nissan Z is finally here, and it's the most powerful Z ever. Nissan's giving us a modern sports coupe, but it still has a traditional and classic flair with its heritage that you're gonna see as we go through this. We're gonna take a full detailed look at the exterior, the interior, get it out on the road for a test drive and see just how fun this new 2023 Nissan Z is. Let's get going. Real quick before I get started, my name is Nolan. I do full reviews like this every single week. I also have a night video of this Z if you want to check that out, see what it looks like at night, and a test drive. Also, if you want to skip around from part to part, look in the description below for chapters so you can go wherever you want, but let's jump into it. Welcome everyone, let's take a look at all the exterior details of this 2023 Nissan Z. So in the US, there's the sport and performance models, and this is the performance model. This is the 7th gen Z. There's just no number anymore. It's got the long hood, short deck, wide stance, just like you would expect. So starting up front, take a look at this grille. This is gonna mirror kind of the rear end with the taillights. I'll show you that in a little bit. A little bit of a grille right there, nothing real big or massive, but then look at these headlights. You've got full LED headlights, high and low beams, and these half circle accent lights, these LED lights up above and below, are actually inspired from a 1970s version of the Z in Japan. You'll see that that turns into the blinker up there. Overall, I like the front end design. You've got a really big, long hood, this front little chin spoiler on the performance model. And if you want to see these headlights at night, I've got a night video showing them off, what they look like and how well they do. So be sure to check that out. Now this paint color on this 23 Z is a two-tone passion red tri-coat with super black top. So you can get two tones like this or a few different monotone colors. Most of them are actually two-tone. I think this looks nice. I'd like to hear what you think though. Now looking at these wheels, 18-inch wheels are going to be standard, but these are 19-inch wheels on this performance model. High performance tires are going to be standard on both sport and performance trims, but this performance model is going to give us the red brake caliper. It's going to give us larger brakes, and like I said, these are 19-inch wheels. You'll see we get a gloss black mirror cap with a turn signal, the flush door handles, the Z badge right here, and then a fast sloping rear end. I thought this silver piece between the paint and the black is kind of interesting. I don't know if it throws it off or if it's a good accent. Let me know what you think. But dimensionally, this is 172.5 inches long, 72.5 inches wide. So definitely still compact. It's front midship, rear wheel drive design. So the engine is farther back in the chassis for better balance. And the new Z gets new larger monotube shocks, new front geometry and rear suspension tuning, plus the chassis gets 10% more rigidity, and the performance model here gives us a sport tuned suspension. Let me know what you think of the design. You can see the side sill spoiler there. You've got a spoiler in the back. The spoiler in the back and the front is just performance models though. LED taillights with this squared off design, LED blinker here as well. You see how that kind of mirrors the front grille with those dimensions, that kind of the shape of the taillight. Plus down here, both trims are going to give you dual exhaust, but the performance gives you a sport oriented exhaust. Now the cargo space is going to be a low priority, but right in this Nissan logo, there's a little touchpad to release it, lift up this entire rear lift bag. I like this design. I like that. You've got the big window right there. And back here, obviously, cargo space is going to be kind of different. I mean, it's pretty wide and pretty long, but it's just not very tall. I mean, that's just my backpack, and you don't have a whole lot of room right there. I like how we have this bar running across to kind of keep stuff separated from you. You've got space behind these big, bulky plastic pieces. There's even a little bit of tie downs. There's a couple of tie downs in here, which is nice. So for most of you, I think groceries, little things like that, it's going to work fine. One other thing is right behind the seats, you have these extra little storage areas so that when you get in the car, you can quickly just throw a couple items right back there. And then underneath of this floor, you're going to get a tire inflator kit, and then it's your Bose system. There's no spare tire though. Now a quick look at the key fob. This is the exact same key fob Nissan is using on other vehicles. It's pretty slim, but pretty boring as well. You just won't find remote start on the key fob, even though so many other Nissans can give you that. The door handles are still fairly flush with the nice little cup. This button is your smart key system. So you push that to lock it or to unlock it, pop the door open. So smart key is standard on every trim, which gives us push button start. Now as we move in, these are actually updated seats. It's a new seat design, but real quick, we have a $500 option to have this illuminated sill plate. So that Z lights up, looks pretty nice. The base model, the sport model, is going to give you 8-way manual seats with cloth black, but these are the red leather with black inserts on this performance model. And like I said, they are redesigned. You've got some good bolstering on the sides. That two-tone looks really nice. You can get different colors in here like blue and black as well. So the leather is fairly soft. The suede feels really nice in here as well. These are actually part power, part manual. So these two dials can adjust like the tilt and the height of the seat bottom cushion. There's a little lever right over here that can give you the lumbar support, so you do have adjustable lumbar support still. And then the moving forward and backwards and reclining is power over there. It's a little bit wonky, but it works. In the US, the performance model is going to give you heated seats standard. You're not going to find any memory settings or any ventilated seats in here though. And I'm 5'9". I've got this seat fairly low, and this is about how much room I have above my head, so keep that in mind. I'm also not a very big person, and these seats are definitely pretty tight around my thighs. Like I honestly get sore in the hips because it's a little too narrow on the seat bottom cushion. I wish it was a little bit wider, but these bolsters around the torso feel great. I mean, this car holds you in place so well. These bolsters are just awesome. But you're definitely gonna wanna try it out for yourself because it is kind of tight for me if I'm in here for a while. At least one bonus is that this is a padded knee rest, but this bolster holds me in so far, I can't even get my darn leg over there. All right, now as we hop inside the interior, Nissan wanted this to be modern but have a traditional feel or a similar feel, and I would say they definitely accomplished that. It doesn't look completely revolutionizing, but let's go ahead and start it up. And I like that graphic that shows up on the screen with the Z. As you can see, you've got a big digital display. You've got a big display over here, some different steering wheel controls, but let's start over on the door real quick. First of all, this entire panel has some soft material to it. So if you want to rest your arm up there, you can. Nice little accent red right here. Even some of the suede, like you'll see the material on the seat for your armrest. A good grab handle that goes through, and a little bit of storage and a tiny little bottle holder. Both doors are automatic one-touch. Even though we have the automatic transmission, you still get some nice looking pedals. The traction button is just to the left of the steering wheel. And then as we look at the steering wheel, I like the Z right in the middle. I think that looks nice and distinctive. The steering wheel has some piano black on it, which is kind of surprising. Even though it has that, I still like it. I don't think it's going to get quite as scratched and scuffed up as if like piano black down here in some vehicles. And I like the layout. They're nice, large buttons, easy to use, easy to operate and function. Even the adaptive cruise control stuff and voice settings on the right. The steering wheel itself is really comfortable to hold on to. This is leather wrapped, it's kind of thick and bulky, and it just feels great in the hand. I love holding on to this steering wheel. You even got these paddle shifters. They're actually a nice, sleek looking dark paddle shifters. They stole these from the GTR on this performance model. Now, if you've seen any of Nissan's new vehicles with digital displays, you'll see that they look really nice. So this is crystal clear. It's over 12 inches. You can see all the icons on the bottom of the different information that you can see. You can customize some things like features and settings on here as well. There's just a lot of different things that you can see. So something to look at. And as we change the view, this is normal right now. Let's look at sport. Take a look at that. That's pretty cool. So check it out. The red line is going to be right at the 12 o'clock position. So if you're performance driving and that red line is right there, and once you get up to that red line, it's going to be easy to see so that you know when to shift. You also have another one. We go to enhanced, and it just pushes everything out and gives you a huge display right in the middle to look at whatever information you want. So you still have the all digital display, but you've got a few different views. If you were looking for it, you won't find a head-up display on here at all, but this display down here is so nice, I don't know if you'll even miss it. One thing to note about materials, this piece is a hard plastic, just the hood, but otherwise you've got like this rubberized material coming across, this red to match our red leather seats. I think this looks nice, even down here, and a little bit of padding right next to your knee, so that is definitely welcome. Take a look at these little retro gauges sitting atop the dash. You've got 3 of them, so you've got your boost meter, you've got your turbo speed, and the voltmeter on the right there. So I think that looks kind of cool. And then coming down, we've got either an 8-inch screen or a 9-inch screen. This is the 9-inch screen because this is the performance model. Standard on all trims, even the 8-inch screen is going to be Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it is wireless. So I think that's pretty nice. You still get physical buttons down here. So if you just want to quickly go back to whatever, you can just hit menu, and there you go. You can go straight on back. This is just like some of the older Nissans. I wish it was maybe a little more updated or a new system, but it works. I mean, it's got everything that you need. You can customize a little bit on here, and I like still having the physical controls. Now, the camera, let me actually go ahead and go into reverse here. You've got dynamic lines. It can turn just like that. It's nice to have, plus we also have front and rear parking sensors. You can turn them off or on, but we have such a long hood, so it's kind of nice to know when you're getting close to something there. And the visibility out the back obviously isn't great, so parking sensors is really nice to have. Plus we have blind spot indicators right there. Those are standard on any trim level with the parking sensors. Those of you that are audiophiles, the sound system is going to be just a basic 6-speaker sound system with the 8-inch screen on the Sport model. Otherwise, you'll get a Bose sound system, which is 8-speaker on this model. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Plug your headphones in because I've got some binaural audio recording. Let's go. One other nice thing is that you have a dedicated volume knob and tuning knob, and you can connect 2 phones at the same time on here. Now moving down, you actually get automatic temperature control. I like these gauges though. You can operate it like it's manual. You know, you can have this on automatic, or you can control your fan speed completely on your own too. So I think that's pretty cool. Same thing with the temperature. You can control it nice and easy right there, and then you can control where everything goes here, or you can have it on automatic. It's a very simple layout. I really appreciate that. USB-C, USB-A, rubber liner for your phone. Surprisingly, even on this performance trim, this is not a wireless charger standard. So you got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but no wireless charging. Push button start on the left, your drive mode on the right. We'll go through that. It's just normal and sport. And then here's our shifter. So this is obviously the automatic. You can get a manual, short close ratio, but this is, you've got the little button over here. Park, just press that button. Otherwise, you just move it forward, move it back. That's pretty much it. And it's supposed to kind of fit your grip. I'm not a huge fan of the shape of it, but it works. All the material around here, so this is a plastic, but at least it doesn't look or feel as cheap. Same thing coming back here. I love having a real physical handbrake, the parking brake there. Heated seat buttons are right over here, and a button to open up your trunk. You've got one exposed bottle holder, which fits my large bottle, and then you can push this back and have a second one and still be able to kind of use your armrest. Otherwise, push that button to lift the armrest up. You've got a 12-volt power outlet in there. Otherwise, it's pretty darn small. But the armrest itself is padded, and it works. You know, you can't lift it up or anything, but in a small car like this, I'm fine with it. Down here, there's also a hidden second 12-volt power outlet as well. This is a locking glove box, and the performance model makes it so that it's a damp opening glove box, so it doesn't just slam open. Overhead, an automatic dimming mirror is standard on every trim, but the garage controls are supposedly just on the performance model. Overhead, you get basic lighting, just push, and then you get a button, no problems, but there's no dedicated sunglass holder. Obviously, you gotta save some space in here. The other thing is the visor obviously rotates out, but it does not slide. You just have a sliding extension right there. So final thoughts on the interior. I like some of the updates, the digital displays in here, some of the controls. I like the different colors in here. You can get different colors on the seats as well. I don't have much to complain about in here. I don't know, are you disappointed or do you like it? Do you like the familiar but modern feel? Let me know below. This 2023 Z under the hood is the most powerful Z they've ever built, and it is rear-wheel drive only. Under the hood right here, you're gonna get a 3-liter direct injected V6 twin turbo with 400 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque that comes out early at 1600 RPM. If you're going to compare to the Supra, that's more horsepower but less torque. This is heavier than the Supra, something to keep in mind. Good news is both the Sport and the Performance model get this powertrain, and they both can choose between a 6-speed manual or a 9-speed automatic. I love that you can choose between both of those. A couple of quick hits on that manual transmission though. It comes with a carbon fiber composite drive shaft. It has a special high performance branded clutch, and the Performance models even get rev matching with that manual. Sport and Performance models are going to give you the same MPG, but the manual is going to drop MPGs on the highway. 20 combined for the manual, 22 combined for this automatic, and this particular one has the 9-speed automatic, so you'll get a feel for what this is like and how powerful and quick this is. But let's listen to the exhaust. Actually, before we do that, the Performance models will give you a mechanical limited slip differential in the back. The Sport model does not. All right, y'all, let's get behind the wheel of this Z. So first of all, quick note is that this gives us a ton of driver assist features as well. It's not the full-on lane centering, but it will alert you if you leave your lane. It's got the adaptive cruise control, emergency braking, blind spot indicators, parking sensors front and rear. It's kind of crazy how much this has as a sports car. Now, like I said, this is the automatic transmission. This is a 9-speed, so I'll talk about how this drives and how this shifts. I have not driven the manual in this Z. This is what they sent, so we'll get an idea of what it's like. And one thing to note is that this Performance model gives you active sound enhancement with the Bose sound system, so there's going to be some noise coming through, probably a little more than what you'll hear in the Sport model. But my first impressions driving the Z is that it feels so solid, so planted, just in a short period of time that I've driven it. We'll cycle through the drive modes. We're just in normal right now. The gauge cluster there is in Sport, so you can have it differently, but in Sport, you got that tack right in front of you, lets you know when to shift. I'm gonna go ahead and put us in Sport mode right away. That is fun. Rear end grabbed on real quick. We've got a mechanical limited slip in the back. We get on the brakes. Ooh, and these are some nice big brakes. Feel that downshift? That's just partial pedal. What do you think of the sound? This sounds like a JDM. Put it in manual mode. Ooh. It's even got a shift indicator up there. That is pretty cool. That actually does come in handy. Put it back in regular automatic mode. If you get on the brakes enough, the transmission responds by downshifting. This handles so well. It just grabs. That is all on its own. This car has an attitude. I tell you what, I like it. It is fun to drive. Now, I gotta say, I have driven the Supra. This has more horsepower than the Supra. The Supra has more torque. This is a little heavier than the Supra, actually by a decent margin. So keep that in mind. You can get a manual in here or this automatic. The Supra that I drove was actually about $59,000. And this is about 52 or 51. So something to keep in mind. I'm gonna put us back in normal mode, or standard mode, I should say. And let's talk about kind of some day-to-day stuff, daily driving. The ride comfort is obviously going to be stiff, but for this kind of a car, I think this is perfect. And this performance model actually gives us a sport tuned suspension. So you're going to notice that compared to the sport model. It's kind of goofy. They have the sport, doesn't have the sport tuned suspension, but this one does. This actually gives us wider front tires than before, so the handling should be a little bit better as well. One thing to note is that visibility out of here is not great. Where I'm sitting, my eyeballs can't even see the street light, and looking out the back, the rear end is so low that it kind of is hard to see straight behind you. So for example, I was looking for some cops while I was driving and I could not see very far behind me. Now, handling day to day, when you're just cruising along, I like the handling. It's not super firm and laborious. I mean, it just feels good, but the car is so responsive. The paddle shifters were quick. I don't say that they were like amazing, but they were still fun and quick enough. Let me get in them again. Just a little delay in those paddles, not elite, but definitely still fun. I would use them occasionally with this manual, or with this with this automatic transmission. So much fun driving this car. It just gives you the feeling of you with the road, and it just makes you want to drive. What do you think of the sound coming in here? So it's actually not that loud right now. Obviously you get some road noise, there's some wind noise, but the wind noise isn't that bad. Road noise is to be expected with this kind of a platform in this car, but day-to-day driving, I'm totally fine and comfortable. The only thing I wish I could change is these front seats. They're too narrow for my fat legs, but that's my problem, not yours. This 9-speed, when you get on it, this 9-speed is hammer, hammer, hammer. I mean, it goes through the gears quickly. It does a nice job. Now, obviously, we're on a rougher textured road. A lot of road noise. That's the only downfall, really, with these kind of cars. But still, fun, fun, fun. Now, I gotta say, I have not been able to drive the old Zs. I've seen them, I've enjoyed looking at them, and I've always wanted to drive one, but I haven't. But from what I know about them, I think this is a great revival of this car, a modernization with the same kind of classic retro feel and look. And I think Nissan did a great job bringing this back without destroying the name or without changing it too much. I hope y'all have enjoyed this drive. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. So to wrap things up on this 2023 Nissan Z, I really like what Nissan did. I like the styling. I think it's unique, but also has that same kind of nice long hood, slung back rear end design that you get with the traditional Z, but it's still modernized, has a lot of power under the hood. Even though you've got some turbos under here, it's still really fun to drive. And fun to drive is the name of the game with this car. I've been very impressed with it. It feels solid, it feels heavy. And maybe that's not a good thing as far as being fast, but it feels very well planted to the ground, handles well, and just drives great. Like I said earlier, be sure to check out the night video in the description below for a different take on this car. Hope you enjoyed this video. A thumbs up would be super helpful. Subscribe for more reviews. Have a great day.